Hey everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode number 98, and today is the 21st of September. We got almost the full crew here. Gonna go down real quick like we do, and I see we got Hernan on video, so everyone's getting a special treat today. What's up, man?
I'm good. You guys should be paying less for actually watching my face right now. So it's good. It's really good to be here.
Turn it off.
It's really good to be here. What's up?
Good deal. All right. Hey, Marco, the volcano hasn't blown you away yet, right?
No, not yet, but it's 6 times in the last 2 days. Lots of ash.
Yeah, I think that's worse, actually. I was dating myself here, but I was born right around the time of St. Helens explosion. I just remember hearing the stories about ash just ruining cars, stuff like that, once it gets in and anything.
Yeah, it'll peel the paint off the car, rust the motor, it'll corrode the motor. You just have to pour water on the car, right? You don't scrub it with anything because it's an abrasive, right? You don't want to rub the paint off the car. You just pour water on it and pour water on everything. It comes off.
Cool. Bradley, how's it going?
Good. Happy to be here.
Alrighty. Well, I will get to my quick announcements, everybody. Wanted to say real quick, hopefully everybody here is on or signed up as a user over at serpspace. If you're not, I'm going to drop the link. You can head over there, sign up for free, and check out the services. Been really busy pushing out a lot of updates. Some really cool stuff with Video Powerhouse for map and video embedding, as well as a secondary network now. And we're going to talk some more about this later, but what else? We got press releases coming out, I believe, on the 30th this month. We've updated the link building packages themselves, so there's now even more options for you. You can do, citations are coming. That one doesn't have a date, but it's soon, so it should be actually within probably 30 to 45 days. There's just a whole lot going on, so I'm going to be writing some emails and getting people notified about that. But if you're already a user, by all means, check it out. You know, the PBN domains is live too. You can buy PBN domains.
What about you want to mention credits and recurring credits now?
Yeah, thank you. Credits, so like Video Powerhouse, you can save money because it runs on a credit system. Basically, you use a credit when you have a video posted. And so it used to be, for various reasons, if you get a subscription, you need to use those in 30 days. We changed up the system, and now when you get a subscription, 1, you save money, and then 2, your credits roll over. So let's say you only use half your credits, well, those will still be there that next month, and then you can use them on other stuff. So pretty awesome.
And have we started moving all the other products over to the credit-based system yet?
We're working on it. That's
okay.
It's eventually we're gonna do that, but yeah, it's kind of we got to figure things out and get it tested. So
okay.
Yeah,
well, that's coming too, though. So that's kind of exciting too, which means you guys can use your credits to purchase. It's coming, but you'll be able to use your credits to purchase not just Video Powerhouse and map embeds, but also like IFTTT networks or link building packages and all that kind of stuff. So,
and don't forget, prices will be going up. I mean, this isn't a scarcity tactic. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money. We had the developers in there. I've been cracking the whip on this gang to get this done, but all of that takes time and money, and so prices are going up.
Yeah,
get in now so that you can get grandfathered in, or if you don't mind paying higher prices, then don't and wait.
Yeah, and I'll back Marco up on this too and say that we are going to do a public launch. So if you are interested in that, now here in the next couple of months is a real good time to see if that works into your kind of SEO toolkit, which by now I would say it definitely should based on what we're offering. But yeah, go check it out, especially check out Video Powerhouse and some of the map embedding options. Pretty awesome.
Cool. What else?
I think that is all I have for right now. So if you guys are good, I guess we'll get started.
Yeah, we got a ton of questions already, so let's go ahead and jump into them. Grab the screen. I'll make sure I did cameraman first just to double check. Yeah, I'm good. All right. And I'll zoom in on this, guys, because I know it's easier for you to see that way. So bear with me. It should be good. All right. Let's see. Mark O'Connell's up first. He says, "Hi, guys. Hope you're doing great. First of all, I would like to say thank you for all your hard work you guys put in. It's of extreme high quality, and I've learned a ton of very useful information from the SM crew." Oh, +1 that. "With your information, Humpdays and IFTTT courses, I got my first lead gen site to number 17 in 6 or 7 weeks. Brand new domain for a roofing term, which is very exciting. So thanks for that." Well, congratulations, Mark. That's awesome. 17 is not where you want to be. yet, but it's certainly it's definitely a jump in the right, a step in the right direction. So my question is about the value of less powerful but highly relevant links. I've watched every Hump Day Hangout, and I have heard you talk about a lot about relevance. I have found 2 citation sites that are specific to the area I'm trying to rank in, but these are not powerful sites like Yelp, for example. Are these 2 sites worth it? And if so, would you advise adding these 2 location-specific citations to my schema, same as attribute in my header? Thanks. Mark, yes, absolutely. Hyper-local citations are incredibly powerful, regardless of what the domain metrics are. Don't worry about that. And this is kind of what we've been kind of preaching, especially in the last few months. And Marco is really adamant about this. Is don't worry so much about metrics. It's more about relevancy, guys. And hyper-local citation sources are oftentimes have more of an effect on your local rankings than the big sites do, like Yelp, for example. And it's because they're hyper-local, and Google knows that. And so getting listed in like hyper-local business directories, like maybe municipal type, what do they call them? The newspapers that are like, for local cities. They're usually really small types of cities. There's what do they call, like coffee news, and those kind of rags that you can pick up free that are usually print publications, but they have an online aspect as well. Those are very, very powerful type of citations. Again, the metrics don't say so, but as far as the effect that they have on ranking locally, there are. There's a few other ones that are even like national type sites. For example, Topics, Topix, is a site that's kind of like a national, it's a forum type site, but it's like hyper local. Another one is Pulse. I think it's Pulse. I can't remember that off the top of my head, but there's several of those types of sites out there that actually starting a thread in your local area, which sometimes it's on a subdomain with like a city subdomain and that kind of stuff, starting a thread in one of those forums and dropping a link or a citation, name, address, and phone number is very, very powerful. So absolutely, I would say, Mark, it's definitely worth your time. And in fact, we mentioned this Marketer Center, which is a reseller, kind of a white label service that you can purchase citations from. Andrew Scherer, he's the guy that runs that. It's a great service. I use it quite a bit. They have a package specifically for hyperlocal citations. Now, they've scraped their own list, and they'll do a little bit of research up front for when you like put in your name, address, and phone number details when you're ordering the citations. They'll do a little bit of research and try to find some local directories that they can list to. And they've already compiled a big list of local directory type stuff instead of just the big national directories. They have the big brands, the big citations, they call it. But they also have the hyperlocal citations. And that's kind of a 1-2 punch. I always order the big citations and hyperlocal citations right off the bat. And then like I said, if you have somebody on your own team, or even if you do it yourself, to actually go out and try to hunt down business directories that are specific to your area only. The 2 most powerful types of citations, I mean, the big citations are important, guys. That's kind of like standard operating procedure. But trying to find city-specific, or like I said, hyper-local business directories to list on, as well as niche-specific directories, like, for example, like a plumber-only directory, or a landscaping only directory. Those are also very, very powerful. And again, it doesn't matter what the metrics say. I can tell you from experience that just using those types of directories that are so targeted, very, very specific, are going to have a huge impact on your ranking. You want to comment on that?
Before we move on from this hyper local, just so you guys know, we're doing an RYS update webinar on Friday for members only, and it's in the Facebook group. So make sure you get in there and let me know that you want to attend. It's not going to be recorded, absolutely not, because the stuff that I'm sharing is stuff that I've been working on, that I've been looking through, and this is just for the RYS group. But it's regarding this. It's just how to give more local relevancy to a map. So that's what we'll be getting into Friday.
Wait till we get to Paul's comment up here. We'll get to that in a few minutes, because that's pretty exciting. So,
on the same, sorry, Bradley, but on the same topic, like from local or finding really good local backlinks, I've had good results with using blue chip backlinks for this, like scraping a local directory, for example, or
Yes.
some sort of local, local website or newspaper, as you were saying. And sometimes they would be really, really open to it to get you featured on it if you're a local company. But sometimes you can get, domains with zero metrics, but they have a couple of backlinks from they have a couple of backlinks from these, local directories or local newspapers, and just 301 at that, you will notice a nice boost. So you can combine that with the hyperlocal citations and finding scraping, with blue chip backlinks or something similar, and getting some domains to 301. Do not go crazy with this, but it's really powerful.
Yeah, and that's what I just pulled this up while you started mentioning that, Hernan, because that's a great point. And that's one way that we do it as well, is just go search for, like, I'm just using Atlanta as an example here, guys, but put your city name in, or municipality, even if it's a smaller area, right? Put your city name in business directory, and then just scrape or grab the URLs from the first two. And in fact, you can do this in blue chip backlinks, what's called the SERP sweeper.
Yep.
But just grab all the business directory URLs and drop them into your domain crawler. Preferably you're using blue chip backlinks, but whatever domain crawler you use, and drop all these business directory URLs in there and let it crawl, because that's true. I mean, first you want to go ahead and try to get a citation on those local directories anyways, like an actual citation that you go get your business listed. And a lot of those are, it's not something I recommend that you do yourself. You can outsource that kind of stuff, and I recommend that that's what you do, because it's tedious work. It's just data entry. It's pretty dumb. It's not fun, let's put it that way, but it's very powerful. But at the same time, you can also, like Hernan just said, find broken backlinks on these directory sites and just pick them up for dirt cheap and use them. And even if they're not like industry specific, which most likely they're not going to be, you can still use them for like deep links or links to inner pages or blog posts and that kind of stuff. And it's going to help boost because of the local relevancy. It doesn't have to be, even if it was a link from a business that went out of business and it's still listed on the directory, you'd say, well, I don't want to screw up my NAP by, buying the expired domain and then having it point over to mine, and then confusing Google because it's at the, it's the link at the bottom of an NAP from a different business, but it's redirecting to my site. Well, that's why you could use a buffer site, or you could run it to an IFTTT property or something like that, or just link it to like a blog post from your money site, because you're still pushing local relevancy into your domain at that point. And that's really, really effective. So it's a great question, Mark. As far as the same as attribute, yeah, you can. If it's, again, I would only use the same as attribute for those listings if you have your own NAP listed on there, not like a scraped domain or a purchased expired domain. I wouldn't do that, but I would absolutely use the same as if you have your own listing URL. So like if you get your own page URL on that directory, then yes, you can list that as a same as attribute. Okay, great question though. Love Paul's meme here of Bubba Gump, Forrest Gump. That's pretty funny. Brian says, or excuse me, Ben says, hi guys, I've just finished creating my first tier 2 network. Phew. I got +1 that. That's a lot. I have a couple of questions. Where is the best place to learn about structured data and how to mark up a website? Ooh, I got the perfect one for you. Just give me 1 second. This are some of the best. That's the schema generator. I'll drop all these links, guys. Let me pull these up real quick, because here we go. I'm trying to find the list of all. Here's one of them right here, and then I've got another one. There's 2 really good articles that I always refer to whenever I'm got something new to do, because I don't know this shit off the top of my head, guys. I just I always have to refer to one of these guides to kind of guide me to whenever I'm adding markup. I'm not a coder. I don't even pretend to be one on TV. So, but these are both really, really good. Is that the same article? Damn it. Let me find the other one. Just a minute. It's Built Visible. This is it. These are probably the 2 best guides that I know of for this. The Built Visible blog is fabulous. This is one of them. There's another one too. There's another one by Built Visible if I can find it. Let me try that real quick. Just give me 1 second. I'll have to find it, guys. I'm not looking. I've got to find it because it's in here somewhere. But I got so many damn articles in here. But I'll drop these 2 links, and then when we're done, if I add them, if you can remind me, I'll come back and add the other ones. But these are some of the best resources for schema and structured data, both JSON LD and microdata, depending on how you need to implement. And then there's the microdata creator. Just go through some of these guides is all you need to do, really. Here's another one. And then here's a JSON LD creator. This is pretty cool. Marco pointed this one out to me, and I use that now sometimes. There's one other article. I'll find it, and it's really, really good. It's the best one of them, and for whatever reason, I'm not finding it right off the bat, but I'll get to it later.
There's also just tons of but it's really geeky, the information in schema.org.
Yeah, it is. If you know how to is this it? Geek with style. No, I'm sorry, guys. I really want to find this for you, and I'm just having trouble finding it right now. So I'll find it and I'll post it on the page later. Anyway, yeah. If you go onto schema.org, if you understand microdata and like the markup and what the tags are, or the what do they call them? The types. Item types and that kind of stuff, then you can get everything you need right from schema.org, but you have to know how to put them into the, the proper div tags and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I always have to refer to resources for, because I don't know, I'm not a coder. So, but yeah, Ben, I'll post the other link as soon as I can find it. I'll have to wait till the webinar is over. I have heard you talk about stacking multiple tier 1 networks on a YouTube channel. How do you do that? Once you have the ring of properties around the YouTube channel, the tier 1 network isn't adding more persona networks and powering them up with links all you can do to make the network more powerful? No, Ben, because see, here's the thing with YouTube channels, there's no footprint issues. So you can take the same YouTube channel. Let's say you have 2 tier 1 networks, right? You have the one tier 1 network that you've already got connected to your YouTube channel, right? Well, now you've got another tier 1 network that you built. It's just another IFTTT network. You haven't assigned it as a tier 1 or a tier 2 yet. You just have a whole nother network just sitting there waiting to be assigned to something. Well, all you need to do is log in to that IFTTT account for the second network, right? And then just activate your YouTube channel, the same YouTube channel in the second IFTTT account. And then whenever you upload a video to that channel, it's going to syndicate to both the first network and the second network. And you can do that with as many networks as you want. There is no limit. It's not like IFTTT, YouTube will only connect to one IFTTT account. You can connect YouTube to unlimited IFTTT accounts. You can only have one YouTube channel activated in each IFTTT account. So that just means you need multiple IFTTT accounts. But each persona ring or each syndication ring that you create is going to have its own IFTTT account anyways. So you can literally stack. It's unlimited. I mean, as far as I know, it's unlimited. I've never hit the limit. But you can just put as many tier 1 rings on that one YouTube channel as you want. Now, I found it's more effective to have 2 tier rings, full 2 tier rings or structures, setups that it ends up, if you have more tier 1 rings, you will oftentimes rank faster than the 2 tier rings, but the 2 tier rings tend to make the videos stick longer. Now, that's not always the case, but that's just kind of the trend that I've seen over the years, is that the 2 tier rings, they don't rank the video normally as quickly as having multiple tier 1 rings, but it does help the video to stick longer once it ranks. And that's why I prefer using the 2 tier rings over the single tiers alone. But don't get me wrong. I mean, you can stack as many full 2 tier rings on a channel as you want to. I mean, we've got some out there with 5 or 6 full 2 tier rings on it, and that's that's considerable. That's 400 to 500 properties that video gets syndicated to with nothing other than an upload or a live stream. So very, very powerful. What theme are you using for your SEO business site, Big Bamboo Marketing? Honestly, I have no idea. It's an old I haven't updated that site since I built it in 2012. And I don't plan on it because I don't ever get any work from my actual website. I mean, very rarely. I don't want to say ever. And I'm not looking to take on any more client work. That's why I don't even update it. And to be honest with you guys, my SEO business site it didn't really ever generate me any work anyways. I always got work from networking or cold contacting using video email, which was my preferred method. And then also from referrals. And then, occasionally I do get leads now because of our, the SEO Virginia case study that I did for RYS Academy. And so I do still get leads from that. But I usually quote them so high they turn around and run away because I don't want to do any more work, client work right now. So, but honestly, I can't remember. It was, I'll have to look it up, Ben, but it's an old theme. It's probably now 4 years old, and I really never updated that site. So, all right, Dean says, with comments like you can spam the hell out of IFTTT properties being used in this community, how careful do we have to be with link velocity and link types when spamming things like Google Drive Doc with our properties in and our about.me pages, which also which out of the main list contain do follow links? We probably should have a resource somewhere that states whether they're follow or no follow. We don't have that, Dina, because really it doesn't matter. I don't really particularly sweat that too much, because whenever I'm building links to our IFTTT network properties, I just build them to all the properties in the network, not just to the ones with do follows. However, it is beneficial to know which ones are do follows, and typically I have the go-to ones like Blogger and WordPress.com and that kind of stuff that are do follow links. That I'll use strategically with spam or with PBN type links and that kind of stuff. But we probably should make a list of that or make a note of it in the IFTTT account workbook template so that you guys know which ones they are. If we can make a note of that, guys, we can get somebody to do that for us, one of our VAs or something.
Yeah, we'll discuss on the back end. I just have concerns since some of that stuff changes, but I guess it'd be kind of
that's true.
At your own risk. Like, this is what it is at the time of publish. Be sure to check.
Yeah, we might do that. Just add like another column to the network or the network workbook guys and put follow, no follow, so something like that in there, just so you guys know. We can get a VA to do that, so maybe we'll have that done by this time next week, Dean. As far as spamming the properties, okay, just keep in mind, I look at any type of link building as spam pretty much, except for like guest posting, where you're creating real content. Pretty much any type of link building tool is a spam link, in my opinion. And that's just the terminology that I use for any type of link building that isn't 100% manual, like manual content with putting links into content manually, that kind of stuff. Any kind of tools or whatever, I just call that spam. So don't let that confuse you. But with the drive stacks, you can pretty much spam them with anything, and it's not really going to hurt it, because we've gotten pretty crazy with those and had some really good results with it. With your network properties, your tier 1 branded network properties, I always like to follow Hernan's guidelines on that. So Hernan, you want to mention how you do it?
Yeah. Basically, we should send a handful of links, and this is I would say the process or the framework that we give our VAs or data or whoever is building links at that point, is that they should only send a handful of contextual links, usually to the properties, to the IFTTT properties. So as not to spam them as well, because as we keep mentioning, you can spam the hell out of them, but the reality is that, they are branded properties, so you need to take care of them, and you want them to be, they can generate a sale as well, so you need to be careful. So we should send a handful of links, maybe, from 50 to 150, something like that, links, contextual links, and then we spam the hell out of those contextual links, so we are putting some kind of buffer in between the actual the property, whatever it is, and the spam. And also I found we have found actually best results with doing that instead of just spamming Twitter profile. If you put, let's say, 100 contextual backlinks between your spam and the Twitter profile will be much more powerful. The metrics will say so, it will get indexed more easily. So I mean, for example, from spam itself, maybe you can get it to, I don't know, I don't want to get into metrics, but you can get it to a trustflow of 5. But if you go to this recipe of a handful of contextuals backed with spam, you can get it to 10, 15, 20 trustflow. So you need to have that in mind. I mean, metrics are higher. The property becomes more powerful following these kind of guidelines. You can, of course, you can experiment yourself with velocities and those kind of things, but just be careful and just send a handful of links.
Yeah. And so when you guys, if you order a link building service from us inside of SerpSpace, it's the same thing. Like that's what we do is we will build a handful of the targeted links, contextuals, like what Hernan's mentioning, to your tier 1 properties or your citations, whatever it is, your target URLs. And then we throw the kitchen sink spam behind those. But that's really why we do it that way, because it's much more effective and safer as well. Okay. By the way, I found that article. I just needed to not be talking to find it. This is it, guys. This is Built Visible. This one, Microdata, JSON LD, and Schema.org, rich snippets. This is the best guide I've ever seen on this. It is so comprehensive. So this is my go-to guide for anytime I have any, you know, I have to add any sort of microdata to stuff. This is what I go to. This is hands down the best guide I've ever seen for that, and it's free. So enjoy it. All right, Jay Turner says, have a potential client who appears pretty competent at their own SEO. Uh-oh. Run. Run, Jay, run. But by no means a power user. He has great maps ranking, awful organic, claims it's from Penguin update 2 years ago, claims to have been diligent in link disavowal, dupe content deletion. Assuming that is all true, do you recommend a comprehensive dupe content checklist or a service I can outsource to? Yeah, just use, what the hell is the name of that service? What's the name of that? Copyscape. There it is, right there. Copyscape. You can, let's see, it's been so long since I've logged into here. I have 0 credits remaining. But if you paste your URL in there, for best results, enter a web page or whole article. You can check your, right here, check your, I know it's hard for you guys to see. It's very, very small. But check your entire site with batch search. So Copyscape, you'll have to buy some credits, but they're cheap. I think there's like 5 cents per search. And then you can drop with batch search in there and basically drop your URL in there. And it will crawl the entire site and then compare all the pages on the site and tell you which pages have duplicate content and that kind of stuff, and it will show you like what the percentage of duplicate content is on each occurrence or each instance where the duplicate content was detected. It will show you what the percentage of duplicate is and all that kind of stuff. And it's just all done right within Copyscape. So if you can actually, just like I said, it'll batch the entire site. It'll crawl the whole site and then categorize everything for you and give you a report. And that's just within Copyscape. So that's how I've done it in the past. It's very, very simple. All that is true. Do you recommend a comprehensive dupe? Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I do, Jay, as I just run it through Copyscape and just check it and see if there's and then also something else that you can do is if you use Screaming Frog SEO Spider, like that's a great tool to be able to map a site very, very quickly and give you a high level overview of like all the title tags and H1s and H2s and meta descriptions and that kind of stuff. And it will also find broken links and things like that. So you know, Screaming Spider, or was a Screaming Frog SEO Spider. It's a really good tool. It's a little bit expensive, but it's a good tool if you're doing a lot of client work and stuff. I like to use it for you know, analyzing client sites whenever like I'm prospecting, especially because that way I can run reports on somebody's site before I even taken them on as a client, and I can show them like, you know, here's where a lot of issues are occurring on your site because of duplicate titles and that kind of stuff. And a lot of people it's hard to do that when you're just manually looking at page by page, but when you look at the site as a whole in one interface or one dashboard, then it makes it much easier to recognize you know, patterns or you know, kind of like footprints even within the own site is what I'm saying. You can find, you know, repeated titles and that kind of stuff, which actually will affect the overall site score. Okay, so Screaming Frog's a good a good tool for that. If you're doing a lot of client work, that should be one of those tools in your toolbox if you do client work, or if you have a large portfolio of your own sites. The next question from Jay says, IFTTT content kingpin customer. Sweet. Built first IFTTT network on branded property last week. Pushing content, looking good so far. Also a video marketing blitz user. You mentioned in a previous video a webinar where you discussed pay-per-call exchange networks and using video marketing blitz. Very interested in seeing that info. Help a fellow receding hairline SEO brother out. Oh man, why'd you have to point that out, man? Anyways, don't get me wrong. You guys have already helped me out greatly. Grateful for these hangouts. They are can't miss. Thanks, guys. All right, Jay. Adam, you want to? We did the Video Marketing Blitz bonus webinar for purchasers. I don't know if Jay didn't get it that or not, but if you make a note of it, I can PM Jay with the link to it later on.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, Jay, just send an email in to support@semanticmastery.com and mention what we're talking about, and we'll get you sorted out.
There you go. Yeah, because we did the first of 2 bonus webinars. The second one's coming. I don't know when. We've got my we got a VA that's learning Video Marketing Blitz right now. He's in training, and he's a full-time VA. That's going to be his job, is to just run that software. So as soon as he gets done training, we're going to pick back up on the case study that I started, and we're actually going to do several case studies because he's working on multiple projects right now for me using that tool. So and actually in masterclass today, we're going to start. I'm going to reveal a new case study today, and part of it's going to be Video Marketing Blitz is going to be part of that case study as well. So if you're not in masterclass, Jay, I recommend you get over there, but we'll still just send in a support ticket and we'll get you the replay of the first VMB bonus webinar. And then when the second one gets scheduled, we'll just make sure that you let us know, and we'll make sure that you're on the notification list. All right. That'll be coming, guys. I don't know when, but it'll be coming. You know, it's going to be several more weeks. But once I have it, once he's trained well enough and I have the procedures in place, that's what I'm going to schedule the second webinar, and that way the buyer, you know, you guys will see how the process works with an outsourcer, because again, it's something that should be outsourced in my opinion. Paul says, hey guys, 3 weeks ago I asked about RYS and doing a press release and which way to go. Bradley, you nailed it. I did the RYS first and then did the press release. 24 hours later, guys, listen to this. 24 hours later, my client is ranking in the map pack for his main keywords, along with a long list of other long tail keywords. Everyone go +1, Paul. I even knocked off the competitor who I asked about last week that had 2 spots in the map pack, not on every page, but some. Some great advice and service. I'm ordering 2 more stacks this week for 2 different clients. This ought to put to bed any concerns about Google's algorithm change. Rank your shit works. It's awesome, Paul. You guys hear that? I was just buying an RYS drive stack from us, and he was able to, in 24 hours later, knock his competitor out and get in a 3-pack. And that's freaking fabulous. And that's what we've been saying. We've been using RYS to rank shit in the maps pack now for months. Like almost overnight, guys. It's ridiculous. Michael Franks. Hey, guys. By the way, congratulations, Paul. That's great work, man. Michael says, hey, guys, I have a backlink from a webs.com site, a PBN site. It has themed backlinks and has trust flow of 30 and citation flow of 32. I'm ready to build an IFTTT network around it. The problem is the URL is a clear EMD, similar to NikeRunningshoes.webs.com. I do not want to use that EMD for the network, but the web's URL has to stay as it is. So the question is, can I brand the network properties using or something less EMD like letsgorunning.wordpress.com and make the header and logo on the existing webs.com to be Let's Go Running to match the network? I'm not sure what you're asking here. I mean, if you already have the subdomain, you're not going to be able to change that unless you set up a new site. But what you're saying, you're not going to do that because you've already got metrics on this site. What you could do is you could buy a non-EMD type domain and just do a 301 redirect to that webs.com site and use your purchased domain in all of your link building. That's what you could do. It would just be a 301 redirect to the .webs.com site. But that way, when you're building links, the EMD, it wouldn't be an EMD. It would be your own, your purchased domain that you have 301 to that site, so that it wouldn't count as a exact match anchor text. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
what were you going to say, Hernan?
No, I was about to say that since it's a PBN site, like he's going to treat it as a PBN site, he could also do persona-based network, you know? Mm-hmm. So let's say that the owner of the webs.com is, John Doe. Instead of going for let's go running.wordpress.com, he could go for johndoe.wordpress.com, something like that.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I see what he's saying there. Yes, guys, that's what I always recommend doing. Other than a branded network, anytime you're using, like for example, for PBN type sites, when we build networks, they're typically persona-based networks for PBNs, right? Sometimes if the PBN has a pretty strong brand of its own, then we will just, we'll create a branded ring. But for a lot of the ones that are that look like blogs instead of looking like business sites, we end up just basing them, creating a persona-based ring around it and making it like a person's blog, and that works well too. But yeah, I mean, as far as what Hernan said, that's a good way to do it, is use a persona name as the subdomain instead, and that's perfectly fine. But also, like I said, if you wanted to build links directly to the webs.com site, but you don't want to use the exact match domain. So the problem, guys, just so you're aware, the problem is when you have an exact match domain and you build links with naked URLs, right? Which everybody says that's what you should be doing, and it's so that you don't tip the scales and over optimized anchor text, that kind of stuff. But the problem is with EMDs, guys, is those naked URLs count as exact match keywords, right? And it didn't used to be that way, but it has been for like the last 2 years at least, maybe even 3 now. And so you got to be really careful with EMDs, and that's in part why I just don't use them anymore. So, but what you could do, like I said, is just use like another domain that's more of a branding type domain that you just 301 redirect to that, and then build all your other links referencing the purchase domain, because then the anchor text would be the name of the domain, and not, even with naked URLs, it wouldn't be an exact match keyword. So both of those routes would work.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but he's going to build the IFTTT network around the webs.com subdomain.
Correct.
Okay, but for something ridiculous like $5 a month, Webs will let you get add a custom domain name, and then they'll 301 the subdomain to the actual. It's like what Google does with
right.
sites.google.com. So if it's worth it for $5 a month, you can actually have the domain name that you want. You can change it. It gets 301'd up by webs.com itself. Then you still have the subdomain that you can link build to.
That's a good
point. So that might be another way to approach it. And then when post out to the IFTTT network, you'll have the new domain name that you'll be using. So it won't be as much of an EMD, and you can stay away from anchor text problems.
Right, and that will inherit the metrics that they currently have, like from the subdomain. So that would be a good idea too.
Man, we've got a lot of questions posted today. You guys are killing us today. We got a lot to get through. Paul says, hey guys, inside SerpSpace, do Video Powerhouse and Map Powerhouse share credits? I believe so. Is that right, Adam?
One sec, I was copying it down and didn't have a chance to look at this. Do Video Powerhouse and Map? Yes, that's correct.
Okay, very good. MJ says, I have a new client to perform SEO services. They had an old website, companiesservice.com, that is about 10 years old. It's a WordPress site. They recently built another new website under companyservice.com, no S in company. Okay, I get it. So one's like companies service, the other one is company service. New content on the new site. Can you see any conflicts with the two sites, and what action would you recommend with the 10-year-old site? P.S. The new site has schema, the old one does not. All right, well, if the content is different, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this, because if the content was the same, then you could either 301 redirect the old to the new, or you could do canonicals, cross-domain canonicals, right? So you point the old page to the new page with not a 301 redirect, but with a canonical, and that way you push you're telling Google, hey, there's this page here, but I want to give all the credit to over here. Push all the credit to this other page, and you assign the canonical URL for that, right? That's typically how I would do it. Now, Google says that cross-domain canonicals should only be used if the content is the same. So it says that's what Google says within their cross-domain canonical, when they first, I guess, created that, and which I think was back in like 2012 or something like that. It was a while ago. I could find the blog post from the Google blog itself. But anyways, that I know that I have tested this where the pages don't have the same content, and I still canonicalize it to the new page and gotten a boost out of that. And I know some of our mastermind members do the same thing. They've tested tested canonicals or done testing with canonicals and been able to accomplish some pretty nice ranking boosts using other pages and canonicals. Okay, but that's just typically how I would do it. Is I would, you know, if the content, I would experiment, MJ, seriously, I would experiment and maybe take a handful of pages and canonicalize them to the new site, from the old site to the new site, and then maybe take a couple other pages and just do a 301 redirect and see, you know, monitor those your target URLs and see what kind of movement occurs after doing that. But I want to hear from you other guys. Hernan, Marco.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually thinking about it.
While you're thinking about it, let me find that article.
Yeah. No. I mean, usually, if you know, I would go when a website, when a client is already ranked. Like when a client, you know, they have gained good rankings, they're ranked well on the 3-pack, or, you know, they have gained like page 1 and they are you know, what else can you do? That would be my question. What would be the next step? The next step would be to rank a couple of feeder sites in that case. You know, it can be IFTTT properties, but usually what you would do is to do that, you know, spread and try to rank a feeder site. That's the only way that I see viable, like having 2 websites trying to rank, because at the end of the day, you will be competing with yourself, which is a great thing. Now, with that being said, I don't know how many resources you currently have to, you know, try to rank the 2 of them, or offer the client some sort of deal where you can rank the 2 of them, or you can work on the 2 of them. In my experience, that's not ideal, because usually maybe it was me having you know, making a bad deal, but back in the day I had that kind of a deal when a client just would throw websites at me and he would expect to rank. And the reality is that there's some randomness in it. So some websites will outrank the others just because of the way Google works. So, you know, I would definitely 301 it. I would definitely 301 it. The 10-year-old site will definitely boost the new website. But I wouldn't work with the 2 of them unless you have gotten them good results with at least one of them, you know, which is probably the 10-year-old one. That's what I would do.
Yep. I was looking at one of the next questions. By the way, I posted that article. It was from 2009, guys. This is Google Webmaster Central blog. It was 2009 that they posted this. This is the cross-domain canonical post. Okay, so I posted it on the event page. So test with that, MJ, and see. That's what I would do. Is just, you know, obviously, whenever you guys come across something like this, it's best to run a few tests, like compare one method against another or against 2 others, whatever, and then track results and see which one gives you the best results. Okay. David says, hey guys, I've an e-commerce store, a physical location in my personal G+ page. So I have 3 branded drives, possibly more if I can use my employees' drives. So my question is, can I get a penalty for duplicating the content inside these drives? Can I basically copy the content of one drive and keep reproducing it in others? As far as I know, but I'll let Marco jump on that one.
I have never seen any penalties with duplicate content inside Drive.
Yeah, I haven't seen any penalties with Drive, period.
That's not to say it won't happen in the future. As I've mentioned before, the only thing I've ever gotten banned by Google and slapped down for, I uploaded a .txt file with a 301 redirect, and they said, no, you can't do that, and I couldn't use the txt file anymore. Other than that, I've just never seen anything happen. So no, and in fact, we recommend it, right? We recommend sharing in between the different drive files. We recommend one main drive file, and then you can share folders among all of the other files. You can share each other's files, and it would stand to reason that 3 people in the same company would be working on the same file and adding comments and adding links and adding edits and just whatever. Which is what we teach people to do inside RYS Academy. May I mention that again? So
yeah, and you know, I guess if you share content, if you share a drive file with another account, then it's basically stored in both accounts. But I think he's talking about like copying the content and creating instead of it being a shared file, it would be a duplicate file in another account. And that, again, I've never seen any issues with Drive stuff yet. So
No, but I mean, just to be on the safe side, share them.
yeah, you can, but that doesn't give you different target URLs. Does that make sense?
No,
It's
but I mean,
the same file URL is what I'm saying.
right.
So, but yeah, you could, I mean, you could do that. But if you wanted separate target URLs for different, spam points, spam targets, then you could do it. You could just copy the content and upload it to those other Drive files.
If you really put on your tinfoil hat, you could just make a literal tiny edit to it and rename it like V1, V2, V3. I mean, and that's real. I mean, people do that. They make copies of documents and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, next question. We're almost out of time, guys. And I know there's a ton of questions on here, man. I'm sorry, guys. We only got an hour or so, but I really appreciate all the questions. Earl says, some of my clients' blog posts have tags that are onesies. I think that's what that's supposed to be. And causing a problem as they are being treated as a separate page of duplicate content. In some cases seem to be slow to load. I know you covered this somewhere in the past, but how do I deal with this other than just killing the currently solo tags, realizing they may want to use that tag once again in the future? Good question, Earl. Again, canonicals. That's what I was pulling up one of my demo blogs that I do a lot of testing with. And all you do is go to posts, go to tags, locate the tag that only has one post. It'll tell you in the count column over here how many posts are using that tag. So any one single tag, any type of singular tag should be canonicalized. Or you should leave your tag set to no index. So that's the thing, guys. We've covered this many, many times, Earl, but for the benefit of everybody, I'll try to cover it very quickly. If you use a tag, WordPress by default is going to create a tag page, which is an exact duplicate of the post itself. So tags are supposed to be, a tag is a more general type of descriptive keyword or term or phrase that can be used across multiple posts, because then the tag page that's created will be like a blog index page. It's a tag index page, right? It would be like a category page. In other words, all the posts that share that tag will show up on the tag page. And so that becomes a unique page compared to a solo tag that only has, that becomes an exact duplicate of the one post that it was, the tag was added to. And so if you're going to use tags and leave them set to index, which is by default, then you just have to be aware of that. And if you're going to use tags, use a tag across multiple posts, or if you're going to use a singular tag on only one post, so a unique tag, then you want to canonicalize that tag page to the actual post URL. And you do that if you're using the WordPress SEO plugin from Yoast. It's very simple. Okay, so you just go to posts, go to tags, then you select the tag. So for example, this one says Digo, and I would click on edit. And then from the edit screen, you'll scroll down, and in the Yoast section, let's see, where is it? It's in the advanced settings right here. Right here, you click the advanced settings of the Yoast plugin, and right here is the canonical URL. That's where you paste the URL of the blog post in, and then click update. And now that tag page, even though you're right, it's a duplicate. It's a 100% duplicate, and it will cause issues, guys. Will cause duplicate content issues on your own site. It's a Panda issue. Okay, so if you're using singular tags, either turn them to no index, set them to no index, which you can also do in Yoast. You go to the taxonomy section and check the box to no index tag pages. Or if you want to leave them to index, which is fine, just want to make sure that you set the canonical for singular tags to point to the original post. That's all. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful. Next, David says, I've just started using Postable.io. It posts documents straight from Drive onto WordPress. I've only used it a couple times, but I'm impressed. AppSumo are doing a deal at the moment where you can get a lifetime access for $39. Well worth a look. Cool. Cool. I'll have to check that out. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Hi, Jane. Love that. Hi there. Scott says, with live events, you can keep using the same video over and over because the live event makes each video unique. Is this a good idea, as it would be spam if there was a manual review of your channel and there are a ton of the same videos but just different file sizes? Yes, Scott, I wouldn't recommend doing it for money channels. For spam channels that you're testing, churn and burn, that kind of stuff, absolutely you can do that. But if it's a money channel, I would not recommend doing that. Because I seriously, I don't like, if it's a channel that you plan on making money from that's not a churn and burn where you know it's going to get burned at some point. If you're in it for the long haul, then I don't recommend doing that. I recommend that you switch up the videos, you change change them enough to where if there was a manual review that it wouldn't be, your account wouldn't be terminated for spam. And I know that's difficult, but that's why it's sometimes good to have tools like Video Marketing Blitz or something like that, where you can have like literally 30, 50, 100 YouTube accounts that you can spread the same video across multiple accounts instead of putting the same video in one account 100 times. Does that make sense? It's just safer that way, guys. Remember, we're using YouTube. It's YouTube's rules. So look, we spam just like we spam with the best of them. But we try to do it in a way that keeps our properties alive as long as possible. Okay. Chris says, I know we're almost out of time. We'll give about 4 more minutes, guys. Chris says, hi, in my IFTTT network, I'm using a goo.gle shortened link for network properties, network property links in Facebook descriptions, blog sidebars, etc. But I'm just unsure of how much benefit or authority they add. When is it a good time to use them, and when is it good not to use Google links? Thanks. All right, there's probably going to be some differences of opinions between my partners and I, although I know we're on the same page on some things. Look, Google links are fine to use when you're not spamming. And actually, Google short URLs are good to use if you know what you're doing with them and there's a reason for it, and sometimes there are reasons to do it. You can even spam with them. But I recommend that you're essentially, when you use a goo.gle short link, you're injecting analytics into that link path. Right, and so you don't want to do any sort of spammy shit with Google links, guys, because you're giving them a window, a view right into what it is that you're doing. You're injecting Google code into your link stream. You know what I mean? And so you just got to be careful. I don't do any real spammy. Well, I do sometimes. I do some real spammy stuff with Google links, but it's very specific reasons when I do it. So for the most part, I don't like to use goo.gle short links for any sort of spam stuff. However, use it like we use the hell out of them in drive stacks, and those are they're great because you're injecting Google into the stream. So what are your take, Marco and Hernan?
Yeah, when I use them inside a drive stack, I don't care. When I use them outside a drive stack, I try to stay as clean as possible, unless it's just something I don't care about and I'm just looking for the metrics. But absolutely, and I saw this, he's using it in Facebook. If you use it in a private group that Google couldn't access otherwise, and you're expecting action, you're expecting people to interact with that shortened link, Google will love you for it, and it does pay off every time that you're sending signals to the bot from a place that it would otherwise not have access to. So yes, by all means, don't spam it unless you know what you're doing.
Right. Just to add to what Marco was saying, which I agree 100%. The other way around is that you spam it, and all of those links end up showing on Google Webmaster Tool. Because there's no secrets anymore. Because if you 301, we have some cases of students that 301 a spam domain or a Chinese domain directly into a goo.gle, and that was pointing at the website, and all of those spam links end up showing on Google Webmaster Tools.
Yeah.
And so you need to be really, really careful because it will show up like that, and you don't want to do that. You need to have several hoops, or you need to be using it, as Marco was saying, to actually inject analytics when you know what you're doing. So be careful.
Yeah. All right, we got to wrap it up here, but TELUS, Cambridge Electronics, I love it when I can't, there's not a name. We posted, Adam beat me to it, Browsio 3.0. That's what this was. Outstanding tool, guys. I think it's an absolute necessary tool for SEO going forward. It's like the Swiss Army knife of SEO tools. That's what I call it. It's fabulous. We did a full webinar with the developer, Simon Dadia, and you can see it right here on this link. I'd check it out. It's a great tool. I recommend anybody that's doing a lot of SEO work or personas, content marketing, IFTTT stuff. It's almost a must-have now. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see, last one.
Yeah, and we'll come back, and we can come back and we'll answer. Like some of these we can definitely answer afterwards.
Yeah,
Me and Hernan will pick up some on the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to tell him to, if you're having an issue with the network, man, just send it to serpspace support. We'll get it taken care of for you.
Yep, support at serpspace.com.
Sorry about not getting all the questions, guys. It pays to get your question on the event page early. So, whatever didn't get answered here, post them in the appropriate groups or save them for next week, and we'll see you then. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Masterclass starts in 5 minutes, so we'll see you guys there.
Adios.
Bye,